Good morning, everyone. This is Jason Bitbender Brink, and we are here to talk about spider tanks. And I recognize that it's not morning everywhere, but here in Manila, where I am visiting a bunch of members of the community, it is regrettably 5 a.m. And yeah, pretty tired, but that's okay. We're here to talk about spider tanks. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thanks,
John. There you go.
Very nice.
It's a little
Awesome.
bit humid than I'm used to, but great.
Where are you, Aaron and John?
We are in beautiful Austin, Texas for a strategy offsite with the team there.
Beautiful Austin, Texas. Wonderful. Make sure that you get some barbecue. It's important.
That is the plan
some
tonight.
Wonderful community members as well. So awesome, guys. Well, let's take some questions. We're gonna be polling questions from the Discord community, some of which have answered questions or asked questions already. I've got a whole list here that we're going to be running through some of them, and we'll also be pulling questions from the Spider Tanks discussion channel in our Discord at galagames.chat. But before we get to the questions, let's check the community. How are you guys doing today? I'm watching the memes come across here. Oh God, popcorn. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope. Awesome. Okay. I think there's a little bit of latency, so let's just dive in. Do you guys want to start from the top of the list, or do you have anything that you guys want to say before we start answering questions?
You are the ringmaster, sir. What would you suggest?
Oh my goodness. I think we should take naps. That's my plan. Let's go ahead and jump in right away.
Wait,
our nodes.
Jason.
Yes, Aaron. Yes.
Sorry. I think we should probably do an introduction of Ben. I think it's his first time debuting on an AMA.
Has Ben never been on an AMA before?
I haven't. This is my first AMA. I was telling the community in Discord just before we hopped on that this is gonna be.
Oh my goodness. Well,
hopefully
welcome,
the first of many,
sir.
and
welcome.
hopefully you don't just stop me from ever coming back after this one.
No, you are a cool guy, and I've enjoyed working with you so far. So I think you will be on many AMAs in the future. Well, Ben, what would you like to tell the community? Do you have any fun facts? Do like 2 truths and a lie?
Oh man, you should have given me a little bit of a heads up there on that front. Now I'll kind of run through on myself a little bit, just a little bit of a background. I come from games. I've been doing games for my whole career. I worked on quite a few across, console, a little bit on mobile. So I've been around, but yeah, definitely a games guy through and through. So it's my jam. So I'm excited to be here and working on spider tanks. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. It is super fun. I'm absolutely loving. And somebody's asking a question here. When do you guys get to beat up on green names again? Soon, I hope. I would love to be someplace where I have a computer that I can actually sit down and play games at. I've been traveling for so long. I almost don't remember what my home looks like, but I would love nothing more than to jump into spider tanks and give it a whirl here. Let's hit some of these questions.
All right, yeah. What do you got?
No, go for it. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say I can't wait for matchmaking to be back on so I can go be defeated in spider tanks again by our lovely community.
I know, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I always get defeated. It's just the way that it is. Okay, so let's see here. There's a few of these questions that we can knock out all at once. They come from the wonderful General Kaizen. And who asked? Who else? Let's see here. Where did it go? General Kaizen and somebody didn't put their name. Basic question: are planetary nodes going to be transferable?
The answer is no, currently not. Actually, I think there was a vote, a founders node vote recently about making nodes NFTs, and I believe, if I remember right, that was voted down. So no, at this point, I don't think there's any plans to make those transferable.
Okay. Now, for clarity's sake for the community, because I know if I don't do this, they're going to light us up. That is still something that may happen with founders nodes, but these are entirely separate from that, and are not in general part of that discussion. Do you guys, anyone want to talk about the Jiri integration with spider tanks? This is also from General Kaizen.
I'll hit that a little bit. I'll take the question that's easy because it's going spectacularly well. We are well aware that we are coming up on the end of August, and we have promised a Spider Tanks launch date by the end of August. We have not forgotten that we said that, and we still intend to provide a date for that. And it's really getting clearer and clearer when we believe we're going to be able to do that. So far, we're completely and totally on schedule on the integration of Geary into Spider Tanks, and things are looking very positive to launch on time. And we'll tell you when on time is soon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, just to add it to that a little bit, I think, the majority of a lift that we're trying to get into Spider Tank is try to get you as much features as possible. And it's no longer a concern of, hey, Jiri's not going to be there. That's why we're pushing back. Is not going to be our excuse, so to say, anymore. We're making a lot of strides. We've tested a lot of functionalities on it, building a lot of smart contracts that work with Spider Tanks. So we'll keep you posted, and very soon we will be announcing date.
Okay. Well, announcing dates is fun and important, and I know that there are a lot of people who were hoping that was going to be a thing that was happening today. But I also understand
it is scary. Like, I mean, if you guys understand, like, it is scary to announce the date because there's so much complexity in launching a game, and just missing. We really don't want to miss it by even a day, but things happen, so that's why announcing it is so scary for us. But
we like to be really sure, but we understand everybody likes numbers, so we did update the light paper today with some real numbers that we plan to go to launch with. So there's a lot of meat in there if you haven't checked that out.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that, John?
Well, yeah. What you'll see in there is a very clear picture now. I believe we put in the last pieces of the puzzle of how the Spider Tanks economy is going to work, and how nodes function within that economy with real percentages and details on how the coin flows through the economy. And I think what you'll notice is we've been very careful to construct the system for sustainability, especially off the bat. We think that's incredibly important, that it is a sustainable economy that can actually last. Something that hasn't been done in play to earn or play and earn ever. So it's please dig into it and tell us what you think. But it is the full detail of exactly how we intend the system to function, with real numbers behind it. So it's something we're very excited about, and has been through many iterations. And it's another moment of it's a moment that we're a bit nervous to put it out into the open. So we have to be really sure that it's going to work. So we've run simulations on this, really cool simulations that actually show token running through the economy in various scenarios. And we believe that this is really a bleeding edge model for how to do this.
So John, actually just bringing something up from the community that I'm seeing with regards to the light paper, a lot of people are asking us just to help them understand it better and break down what the new changes are, just to highlight the differences that we added into this one. So it might be worth doing, here this week, just, changing the text color on anything that we added, or was the suggestion I saw. I thought that was good.
That is a great suggestion. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we can do that. That's actually how we reviewed it, so we can just put those changes back in.
I like it. I like it. And one of the things that I really want to drive home here for people is that, if you're looking at this and you feel like the numbers aren't quite there, or if you feel that the economic model is too tight, know that this is sort of a starting position. Okay, we've designed and we've built this from a position of absolute conservative sustainability. So there will absolutely not be, problems of, insane runaway tokens and things like that. We do have mechanisms in there that can ease that up a little bit, but we're starting off very, very slow, very, very conservatively, and working to make sure that it is something that works long term. Okay, guys, how many nodes can one person own?
Unlimited. One person can own unlimited nodes. No restrictions.
Unlimited nodes. Okay, awesome.
Well, as long as you're able to
that
run them, right? I guess you can own it and not run them, but it's not recommended.
That would kind of be sad. Okay. Some of these questions, guys, when you submit questions, please submit the question form multiple times if you have multiple questions. Get some of these that are just like massive piles of questions. Is there a starting price for these nodes? I know I'm seeing that come across in a lot of these.
I think a lot of people are asking questions around the node sale, so we can kind of dive into some of the details on that, Aaron and John, if we're ready for it. I think
we're pretty locked in, Ben. Yeah, I think that's, let's share some details here. Go for it.
All right. So we'll be releasing this in a written format here sometime after the AMA, but we are going with a starting price of $2,000 for the planetary nodes. At every 100 nodes that are sold, the price will go up $100, and we are capping the price for this sale at $5,000. So it won't go above $5,000 for this sale. And right now there isn't a limit on the number that we're looking to sell. So you can come in and basically get as many as you want. The sale is looking to go live starting next Monday. That is 8/29. Don't have the official time yet, but we'll release that here again in a written format afterwards, and it'll be live for a week through, I believe that's the 3rd, whatever that Sunday is following the 29th. So I promised you guys details yesterday. There are the details.
That's some meat, Ben. I think it's a good first AMA.
There you go. There you go. I'm liking the memes. Memes are good, guys. Keep them up. Okay. Let's see here.
Oh, and that was sorry. There was one other question that had come up, which was how many per transaction, and we're actually not looking to cap that at this point.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So that answers all of the price ones, all of the date ones. Okay, so do you want to go into this question? And this comes from Chewbacca, which, by the way, hey man, how you doing today? What is the point of pairing my tanks to a node, since I have to play with those tanks anyway to gain victory points from them specifically?
So you'll see in the update to the light paper, the distribution that comes through the node, a portion of it is straight to for running the node, which is running the matches and matched with maps. Now maps earn that way whether they're paired with a node or not. However, a portion of it is built for NFT owners that's separate from using the items in the game. So loading an NFT into those up to, I think we have up to 5 slots you can load in, or 6 slots. It essentially is in a separate portion of the distribution with other folks who have nodes and have loaded their items into there. And I think it actually, obviously the tanks, the parts rarity takes part, and how they're used in the game that day influences the result there. This is really a way that we wanted to, if you're supporting Spider Tanks, playing it, purchased NFTs in the past, are running a node to support the matches. All of those things are the positive things that contribute to the ecosystem. So for folks that have done all those things in the past and continue to do them, we wanted to put take special care there. So that's really the purpose of that portion.
Yeah, John.
Okay, there we go.
Just to make sure that well, I don't want to correct you, but
Did I say something wrong? I wouldn't put it. Go ahead. Go right ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So on the map side, we the node will be paired with the map, and the part that doesn't get paired with the map will be the NFT distribution side that John mentioned. So the maps will have 2 ways to earn it by running a battle that's paired with the node. And also, if the map is assigned to a node depot, it'll also have an extra bonus towards the distribution for NFTs. Just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I think one of the
know
things
there's some
that's...
questions about. Sorry, Jason.
I was just going to say, I think
there's some questions about.
Go ahead. Go.
All right. There were questions about map prices versus node prices being quite low. Is that I think the way we designed it is that depending on how much maps are out there, their frequency of being utilized to battle the nodes will be power the. Oh man, I'm off. Anyway, power the battles would increase if there's less land out there versus the nodes. So there is a little bit of a equilibrium that can happen towards how much land is out there versus how much node out there. But it's not just as like, hey, nodes is cheaper, but they're getting more. Like it's not going to be like that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's important to note about the concept of the node depot is this is essentially stuff that supercharges the functionality of the node itself. So it's built in to do that, to enhance that. Okay, let's see here. And come on, guys, some of these questions that I'm seeing in this list are things that are literally in the paper.
Well, just to keep in mind that we
GAMEDIA
released the paper a little late ahead of this. So,
these questions they came in early? Oh, my bad then.
Yeah, they came in before when we released the Node Atlas on Friday, and we just released the light paper, which I did notice. Yeah, okay. Answered some of these.
My apologies, guys. My apologies. I have been running around here in the Philippines. I got 1 hour of sleep after coming back in at about 3:30 this morning. So 1 hour of sleep, and now I'm jumping into this. So there may be messages that I missed. My apologies. Will GameDia Gala own any nodes? I imagine probably so, but I do not know of any numbers that have been determined as of yet. Does that conflict with anything anyone knows?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, and then will the players select on which planetary node they're playing, or will it be random? It will be random. Correct?
It will be random, yes.
I think. There you go, guys.
According to the queue system.
I think that. Yeah, according to the queue system. Does anyone have anything that you would like to answer from the list of questions in the sheet.
Simple one. Will it be possible to upgrade to level 5 immediately, or is there a cooldown? You can upgrade immediately. That one's simple.
Okay.
And I don't think question here is, will NFT mints be dropped to these nodes? There's not currently a plan to do that as we do with Founders nodes. These have separate functionality.
Yeah, and that will still continue with Founders nodes. That's something that
Or reps, yes.
is stopping with this. Okay. Okay, I like this question. Can planetary nodes be operated truly like a node hands-off, or does it involve daily activity? Furthermore, if it does involve activity, is there an ability to increase daily distributions with good in-game performance? And this is from RNG King for the win.
Yeah, I was looking at exactly the same question. It's a great question. So the planetary nodes can be truly like a node where you don't need to come into the node and like perform actions or anything. I know there has been some. So before, earlier this year, we have with regards to the maps, we have told people that because we don't have the right systems in place, map owners will have to come into the game and play a match and actually win to qualify for the day's distribution. That is gone. That is no longer the case, and I think I stated that on the Discord with the planetary nodes coming into play and how it works with the maps. That kind of interaction is not needed for both map and the nodes. So that's the first part of the question. Furthermore, if it does involve activity, so it doesn't involve activity. However, the node depot upgrades, if you upgrade your node depot side and be able to any of your NFTs that you own, those NFTs that perform in the actual game, whether it's tanks or land, or if they win and earn victory points, they will be awarded as bonus for the node owners who has those NFTs assigned to that depot. Was that too much of a word, or hey Ben, maybe you can have a easier explanation for that? Ben did a lot of design work around nodes, so.
Well, I want to jump in really quick and address a little bit of what Old Man Smithers is saying here. He talks about how maps were sold, and the description of them being the cornerstone, or of nodes being the cornerstone of the ecosystem, as having been something that belongs to maps. The reality is that is still very much the case. The number of maps is finite. The number of nodes is not. My guess is it will be something that will scale with demand, but those maps that are out there are still going to be the maps that are used again and again and again and again and again. So I would expect that maps would be hit much more frequently than nodes in terms of the distribution and matching. Does that answer that question? Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Okay, General Kaizen says, what prevents game media from putting more maps out? I think that the idea here is to make sure that what we're doing serves all of the players and the economy as a whole. I don't think that they have any interest in just randomly putting more maps out. I think that it will be something that happens, if that happens, slowly and gradually, not just 50 new different potential maps. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I think on that there was another question like that. Just if we had currently had plans for more maps, and the answer is no. There's been no discussion around new maps, especially ahead of the launch, and to see how the system works. So that's
Yeah. And to answer your question here, Luca Biley, I think that's how I say your name. Luca asks, what's the point in having an unlimited number of nodes then? The idea is that the node ecosystem needs to be able to scale in concert with the number of players that are potentially joining the overall game ecosystem as a whole. We are working very, very, very hard to make it easier and easier and easier for people to join the Gala ecosystem, and easier and easier and easier for those people to jump in and start using spider tanks. If the numbers grow exponentially, the number of people who will want to operate those nodes is also going to increase, because the demand for those nodes is going to increase. And so that's essentially why we have that. We don't want to set a situation where we say, okay, only X number of nodes are necessary when the players far exceed that. So it's not so much we're going to have unlimited, even though it functionally is. It's that we don't want to put an artificial cap on it that creates a situation where we end up shooting ourselves in the foot by not having enough.
And we are limiting the amount of time that we're selling in this first round as well. So unlike Founders nodes and Townstar nodes, which are generally available, we'll have the sale turn on and then we'll turn it off after a week.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So, excuse me, I'll get some water here.
While you get that water, I'll answer a question from General Kaizen in chat, talking about, are we going to have a mechanic like popcorn or something for running your nodes prior to launch? We've definitely been talking about it, and if that's going to happen, we will announce the details ahead of the sale for sure. But we've been watching the film node sale very closely, and they've done some really cool things on that side. So definitely looking to see what we can borrow and use ourselves in our own cool way.
Yeah, said another way, yes, we have a very cool plan for pre-launch functionality that we can't wait to tell you about.
And jumping in here really quick, I feel like somehow it's not getting through what I'm trying to say about the maps here. This is from Family Man. Man says, so map earnings are the deprioritized earnings in this ecosystem. And they're only going to see the true reflection of their value when the game is fully successful. That seems odd to me, because the idea here is that your maps, as they match, okay, there's not a ton of them out there, and as they match with nodes, they may get hit many times, depending on the number of nodes there are, for each time one of the nodes comes up through sort of the round robin queue. So like this is they're in a queue, yes, but there's also in all likelihood going to be far fewer of them than there are of nodes, and that is, to a certain extent, taken into account when we looked at the distribution.
Yeah, I would also say that the maps are the only NFT that has a dedicated portion of the distribution. They're also some of the most powerful NFTs we have, so pairing them with the nodes is a particularly powerful combination as far as the percent of the distribution you have access to by doing that. So we really did try to make maps a central point here.
Yeah, absolutely, and so that's why I'm like, guys, we're super aware that that this is something that people are concerned about, and we've worked to address that. Okay, and Shenny Bedley, is the AMA happening here? Yes, welcome. The angry duck picture. Okay, and then Dig Dug, if we were worried about being able to scale to a massive number of players, why was the number of maps itself limited? Because selling unlimited things is not something that works very well in the space, and because we wanted the people who did buy them to be able to get some really good utility out of them. Colonel Rhino, if you own more than one map, do you need a separate node for each map? One of you guys want to take that?
Yeah, I can take that. So actually, the map, if you own a map and a node, they kind of go into the two different queues that we've defined. So that's the node queue and the map queue, and they may get paired up through that system. But ultimately, if you own one or the other, you're participating in that. You don't need to own both, and you don't need to own the same amount of both to make it work. You can own any number, and it just works in that system.
Plus, you could upgrade a node and load 2 maps into it for the additional portion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I'm understanding here, Dig Dug. The idea here is, so 2 questions, one from Hop77. So some nodes may not get any maps. Okay, the pairing is not a permanent pairing. Okay, so if you have nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and maps A, B, and C, it's not that node 1 is always forever paired with map A. Okay, there may be a match that takes place. Node 1 will be grabbed and map A will be grabbed. They will be linked for the duration of that match, call it 5 minutes total, and at which point in time they will then be released, and there'll be another match, and node 2 and map B will then, come up. It's basically running through a system like that. But because there are many more nodes than there are maps potentially, then the maps will be coming up much more frequently. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not explaining this well because everyone seems to keep missing it.
Yeah, I think it's. I thought we covered that well in the doc with the node queue description, but it seems like maybe we should update it if it's not clear. So let's take a note.
Yeah, stick a pin in that and let's update that.
Maybe a diagram.
Yes, does the jugger a picture? Absolutely. Virtual, what is the max number of maps you can load into a node? Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that people are missing that point. Okay. Akaka looks confused, General Kaizen.
I'm not confused. I'm trying to
Okay.
see what would be a better way to explain some of this. And
yeah,
so with less amount of nodes and a lot of less amount of maps and a lot of nodes, the pairing of the map to a nodes can be more than one. That's correct, Ben?
Rephrase that one more time. Sorry, I was in Discord.
So what we're trying to do with nodes and maps is that nodes are actually it's going to be more of a workload, right? So it's going to be powering a battle, where map is going to be something that gets assigned to or assigned to that battle, right? So yes. It's there is a limitation on how much can be run on a node versus how many maps, whether a map can be assigned to multiple nodes. So what I'm saying is maps can be simultaneously assigned to a multiple running map, running nodes and battles, which makes it makes sense to have more set of nodes to power the game if we have more battles happening, more players playing the game versus having unlimited set of or more quantity of maps. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think you're saying exactly you're saying it exactly right. Just if maps can be assigned to more than one match at once, so even if there are less maps in the ecosystem than there are nodes, generally we'll maps will just be used more. I mean, that's kind of the point. So as a map gets assigned to a match, it immediately goes back in the queue to get assigned to another match. So if there's only one map and like 1,000 matches going on that day, and there's only one map available, that one map is going to get all those matches. I mean, that's the way we built it. But obviously, there are more than maps than that out in the ecosystem. So as their player base grows over time, and as we expand, then maps just become more and more valuable, I think.
Okay. I got what Family Man is saying here. The idea of the node depot concept, which allows you to attach things to your node that essentially supercharge that node. Okay, maps are mentioned there. Okay, because this is one of two ways, because maps actually have the potential to earn in two ways here. One, through being added to the node depot, and secondly, also being added to the entire map rotation. Those are two totally separate things and do not involve one another. Does that make sense? So your node depot can be powered up with a map, but that map can also be in the rotation. Is that accurate, guys? Just making sure.
I believe so.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So those are two separate things, Family Man. I hope that helps understand that. Oh no, and Akaka's internet died. Hopefully he's back.
Oh no.
That is a nice pose. Is that your room, Akaka? Is that where you actually are right now? That's epic looking.
No, go back. I'm in a hotel room and hotel Wi-Fi. Sorry, did that mess with the whole setup?
Jason is tired. Jason, I'm also not really in spider tanks if you thought I was.
Wait, what?
I said my background is also not actually where I am. Even though
dude, I'm doing
this cool. I can go like
I'm doing this on my phone. So the entire chat window with the four of us on it is about 1.5 centimeters across. I just saw the picture that was posted in the chat. That's all. Okay. Let's see here. What other questions do you guys see? Is there anything that you would like to dig into? And hi, Rocket Unit. I think I've been seeing you a lot on Twitter lately. Forged in Crypto would like some information on the pods. Does one of you guys want to dive into that?
I'm sorry, what was the question again, Jason? And hello, Forged in Crypto. Nice to hear from you.
Says pod info, please. So it's not specifically a question. I think people just would like a little bit more information about exactly how that may work. And there's still evolving discussions around that, guys, too. That's there's a few different thoughts there.
I think that is the answer on that one. The intention there is to make sure as the game launches and the user base grows over time, that leasing grows with it. So that the number of tanks available for lease, if you think about it, it doesn't really matter if you have one or more, as long as the queue is appropriately sized. However, we've heard the feedback there, so we're having a lot of discussions around how exactly that will work. So we'd like to update in detail with numbers when we're ready. And that was really the next step that we've taken on here after getting the light paper out and the node atlas out. So we absolutely understand, and we're in Discord all the time. We've been reading the feedback on that and are listening to the feedback, and we will come back with answers for everybody.
Yeah, And Ed777, what is the purpose of charging for dropship pods? Why do we have to pay to rent out our tanks? Think of it in this particular case as a little bit of a choke point to make sure that the number of people who are putting tanks out is across the entire community, not only the people who have a pile of tanks. That's one good way to look at this.
And I
Okay,
think,
let's see here.
One more point that I would like to make to that is, I know the community has been voicing their concerns on the sync for silk, which, you know, in mostly it was towards upgrading the tanks, and we're trying to come up with a lot of ways to make it beneficial to silk sync, but not cause a runaway economy. So I think that it's a little bit more complicated than I'm saying, but there is a side to that where limiting the around the whole drop ship and drop pod design is in consideration for making the ecosystem look healthy, not purposefully putting more restrictions on it.
Another consideration around this and way to think about it, you know, why to pay for it is that, as you know, tanks of different rarities have very different profiles in terms of victory points for the same actions. So it may, you know, based on that, if you have a lot of common tanks that would be going and crowding the leasing queue, those common tank owners might not choose to have drop pods for the common tanks. While if you have uncommon, rare, etc., might make a lot more sense to have drop pods for the tanks. So it would kind of limits the queue for those that opt into the queue, and the result might not be what you think initially when you hear, "Oh, I can only lease one tank," and that's what we're working through.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that are being discussed there. I also like to dive in really quick and address one of the questions or statements rather from Golden Hawk. Golden Hawk says we need to be walked through the exact details of pairing maps and tanks with nodes to get numerical examples of the earnings, because it's still not clear to us how the mechanic works. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be possible for us to say, like, okay, if you have A and you do B, then there's exactly this amount of silk, because that's not actually how it works. Okay, one of the key things that is really important to get about this, guys, is that this is not like the town economy. Okay, so if you place a whatever specific NFT in the game, there is not this automatically gets you X amount of silk. The amount of silk that gets distributed on any given day is based entirely on the function of the number of games being played, okay, and what is being spent in the ecosystem, what the burn is essentially of silk itself. So there's no way for us to say, like, you know, A plus B equals C, because it's much more complex and much more balanced than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would just point out because the system is balanced, the amount coming out is going to be so tied to the health of the economy coming in that it would make, without that information, it's impossible to say, I think is what you're saying. So even if we modeled it out.
Yeah. And guys, just to be clear here, you know, this is AWK says it's like early adopters just keep getting sidelined. That's literally the exact opposite of what's happening here. But anyway, let's poke in here. Anything else that you guys would like to go over today, guys?
Oh, you know what? Let me quickly announce something.
Sure, go for it.
So, Dicey Juice asked, when playable on Mac? This is like really very, very, very soon. and I'm talking closer to end of the month soon. So only a week and a half
Ooh.
left. So
We have a lot of internal folks excited about that particular build.
Oh my God,
also.
yes.
very much so.
I am excited about it because I know the community is excited about it. I, unlike Mr. Olden, do not own a Mac and do not use them. But I know that other people are excited, so I'll be excited for them. Fleef, yes, that is correct. Okay, guys, let's see here. Anything else that you would like to address?
So the map build won't be a new build with new features yet. We're kind of keeping the updates a little bit close to our chest so that we have more exciting stuff to announce closer to the launch. So yeah, no, but you will be able to play on Mac with players that are playing on awesome gaming laptops as well, and we'll see which one performs better.
General Kaizen asks, how can I buy something I can't understand? It's not possible to explain. Which specific thing are you talking about, Kaizen? Or general? And yeah, I think the key point here, and I think that he's typing a response here. I think the key point is, guys, that this is a complex ecosystem. Like, you should see the sheets used to model this shit out. It's insane. And the idea here is that, you know, we're working to create an ecosystem that works, you know, in the long term, and is something that works for the entire you know, community. That's the whole point. Old Man Spither says he doesn't think that anyone understands how any of it works. Actually, the economists do. They definitely do. And the
Ben
amount
does.
of work that has gone into it is, and Ben does too. It's absolutely insane. I don't, because I have not sat there for days and days and days and days and days with those models and modeled out the, you know, hundreds of thousands and millions of matches to see exactly what happens, and, you know, modeled all of the different you know, burn scenarios and things like that. It's like it's deep, guys. Like, it's really, really, really deep. Okay, General Kaizen wants an example. Let me see if I can break this down. Do you have a super simple example that you can give, Ben, or can I just wing it here on 1 hour of sleep?
I actually want to see you wing it on 1 hour of sleep. I think that'd be way more entertaining.
100%.
Okay. So
We will correct you if you're wrong.
Now, please understand that any numbers here, okay, are complete and total. And again, this is 1 hour of sleep. I am on a hotel couch in Manila. So if I'm not looking at any sheets, this is all just working from mind, okay? But let's say that we assume, just for a moment, okay, that one match, okay, generates as new non-replacement mint 1 silk. Okay, let's just say that that is the number. Okay, now if that is the number of that 1 silk, okay, that will get split up across the entire ecosystem. A decent chunk of it going to the nodes, okay, for supporting the ecosystem. At 1 silk will get broken up by points-based earning, just the same way that it does with other node distributions. A chunk of it will go to maps. Okay, and in that specific case for that one game, it would go to 0.2 silk, I believe is the number, would go to one specific map. A chunk of it would go to the node depot, and again, this goes across the entire ecosystem. Okay, and not just to actually that would go to a specific node as well. And then there'd be a little tiny bit that would go to founders nodes. There'd be a little tiny bit that would go to a couple other bits and pieces in there. Now, if you multiply this across 100 matches, we have 100 silk. You can break down the percentages. They're listed in there very, very clearly. Okay. Now, let's say, hypothetically speaking, that we have only 10 nodes that are operational and only 2 maps. Okay. In that specific model, okay, across 100 games, okay, each of those nodes would serve 10 games, and each of those maps would serve 50 games. Okay. Go ahead and factor that into the breakdown of how all of those distribute out. I'm not going into rarity here because I don't personally have those numbers off the top of my head. I know that the rarer things get entered into the queue more often than the more common ones. But for the purposes of this super short explanation, let's assume rarity is equal. Now, let's say that the players who have been playing those matches, there's an accumulation of a certain number of victory points. Okay, the victory points could be converted into silk. Okay, which they will then be able to use to upgrade tanks, to purchase consumables, to do all of these different things. The amount that they use to purchase, okay, is as they are purchasing automatically burnt. Okay, the number that was that is a dog on my side or okay, sorry. None of you could hear that crazy dog barking. That's nuts. It was
Jason's
on our
sleep
stream
hallucinating.
manager's side. Seriously, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is there a giant dog? What's happening? Anyway, so at that point in time, all of the spend that they have spent in game is automatically burnt, and the next day, that is the amount that is used to determine what goes to players who are within the ecosystem. Now, that number can be tuned over time, but it is at the outset, okay, is a number that is non-inflationary. Okay, it's essentially at the get-go, completely unsupervised, is basically zero sum. And over time, that can be relaxed if necessary, but we're starting it out from a position of maximum conservation. Does that make sense in terms of how the proportions break down for nodes, maps, etc.?
That was a good job of winging it, Jason.
Okay.
I read this question in the very beginning of the AMA, but it's taken me the whole time to figure it out. It's from the user Poop. User Poop asks, pizza or sandwich? And what I decided was, if you include burgers as a sandwich, then I would pick sandwich. But if burgers are excluded from sandwich, I would go pizza.
I'm going to say Team Taco, man.
Oh,
There you
man.
have it. Yes, it wasn't an option. It was very specific. You got to answer specific questions.
All right, John. I think this. I have this question from Garrison Pack, and I think you're very to answer this. People don't understand why Node Depot, and I'm calling you out because this is your
Why Node Depot?
Yeah.
It gives an advantage to earliest supporters who have lots of NFTs. it gives you an additional portion for owning those NFTs. It's yeah, very simply put.
And John was really pushing for that feature. I remember.
Got a question here. Where did it go? I think it was Ed777. How does it work if no silk was burnt the day before? At the very beginning, if no silk was burnt the day before, period, like at all, then there would not be a play and earn distribution on that day. There would still be a play-based distribution that would go to the nodes. But if nobody is spending anything in the game, nothing is coming out via play.
Oh, and also there's multiple models that we're trying to running simulations on. Is that does what comes in yesterday come out exactly the same amount today, or does that come out over time in a different curve? Could also solve that issue. And we are going to we haven't locked down that curve, but we are very much trying our best to get that right. And of course, we won't be 100% effective in the beginning because we really don't have that much metrics. But we run the ecosystem and take a closer look at the metrics and how things are working. We'll be able to tune it so it runs the ecosystem in a smooth fashion.
Yeah, and you know that's the key here, guys, is that it's about creating something that works sustainably long term. Ed77, so how does the first day work if there's no way to burn the day before the game starts? If there's no way to burn the day before the game starts, okay, which I do not necessarily know is going to be true, it might be, then that day there would be no play and earn distribution. There would still be a node distribution, which presumably some of which would get burnt that day. And Golden Hawk, does that mean that a map that is paired with a node potentially earns double, quote unquote? It does not earn double, but it may earn twice.
I was going to describe it in chat as like an extra %.
Yeah.
Based on how much that map was used that day. So it's not, I'm likely, yeah, it's not going to be double, but.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, guys. Should we start wrapping this up? Maybe I can go back to sleep. I'd be super excited to do that.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I want to keep Jason up for another 2 hours. I want to see
another
Jason
2 hours. I can do it, man.
Sleep, hallucinate more.
I'm here for
dogs.
I'm here for it. You heard the dogs too. I know you heard the dogs.
We didn't hear the dogs.
Pretend like you didn't hear the dogs.
No, we didn't hear the dogs.
Oh my god.
No dogs. And guys, I know some of the explanation might not have gone through clearly, but we'll try to keep on communicating with you, chatting up with you on Discord. But also, we have a number of updates that we're planning to add to the light paper in the future, and hopefully, we should have locked down a time to go over more specific details of it. I know there were some questions on some, and we have pretty significant progress on it. So it would be a good time to go over both light paper and honor at the same time over another AMA. This particular AMA was more focused on the nodes, so we weren't able to go over all the points that we were the questions that were asked, but hopefully we should be able to get answers for you on both. you know, on the community Discord, Medium, and future AMAs.
Don't worry, old man Smithers. There will be more AMAs. We promise. And I was out with a bunch of the community here in the Philippines. I spent a bunch of the evening with Tier 1 Entertainment. They are the largest esports league by players in the world. And I got a cool picture here. Actually, let me post a picture. Here's a picture of me in front of their PUBG Mobile Global Champions thing there. So spent a lot of time in the evening with everybody. So there was not enough time to sleep. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you very much for taking the time to join all of us, and we look forward to talking to you guys all again in the very near future. And I'm sure that I will run into some of you guys probably in Manila today, and we'll love to chat about some of this. And yeah, let's go from there, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, folks.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Peace out, everyone.